Hello, this is John from the Han Informer,
This is Glenn from Fall Ritual.
and this is episode 12 of Fall Informer. And today we have a special guest, Jim from Field of Screams.
Hey guys, Jim Schopf here from Field of Screams.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yes.
So just to get into the questions, it's kind of like I'll throw a softball to you, an easy one to you. How many seasons has Field of Screams been open? What number is this year?
This will be season number 29. 2021 is our 29th season. We started Field of Screams back in 1993. So we're almost 3 decades old at this point.
Awesome.
Wow. And you've been there since day one?
Yeah, my brother and I started Field of Screams, 1993. I was giving away my age here, but I was born in 72. So that made me 21 years old when I started Field of Screams. And my brother years older than me. So, he was 27. And, I don't know if anyone listening remembers Field of Screams back in 1993, but you probably don't know how to use a podcast if you went to Field of Screams in 1993, but or look up anything on YouTube because you're too old. But anyway, it was very humble beginnings in 1993. There weren't any haunted attractions around, so to speak. So the bar was very low, and it was very primitive. We just had a hayride, and we had, I think, just one wagon. And we didn't even have costumes. We just had masks. So it was basically like, whatever you were wearing that day, you would just put a mask on, and that would be your character. And it was pretty. I mean, looking back, it's comical, but it worked then. Like I said, there was nothing going on. There weren't really haunted attractions around. We had this idea and we ran with it. We had the hayride. People loved it. They still got scared. I mean, it was raw, but it was great. So that was a long answer to your short.
Do you remember the cost for a ticket back then? What did it cost to get to Field of Screams in 1993?
I want to say the ride was like $5 or something like that. We have one of the original posters down in our conference room at our office. Kind of like a hand-drawn, like this skeleton-looking character, and it has the price on there. I'm trying to remember right now, but yeah, it was like $4 or something.
Because I remember those old ads of you with like the Billy Bob teeth. I saw those.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Dean and I with our straw hats and the Billy Bob teeth.
Yeah.
Y'all better these curly whites. Yeah.
Oh,
That's OG. That's like an OG poster. So it's cool. I've kept a lot of the old stuff in our one storage barn where we warehouse a lot of the props that that are out of commission or still haven't been used yet or need refurbished, whatever. I have a lot of the old. I call it my Field of Screams museum. So I have a lot of the old signs and just some of the old stuff. It's kind of cool. I can't throw them out because I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome to look back on and just think where you started from and then progressed. So yeah, I wouldn't get rid of it either.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about this year and your recent updates to Field of Screams. And I know that recently in May, when we went to the Halfway to Halloween event, which was a lot of fun, we both enjoyed that. We actually did a whole episode talking about our experiences at Halfway to Halloween events, and we talked about it. So you can see our experiences from Field of Screams on the Fall Informer. Check back previous episodes. I'll have that linked in the corner. And we had a lot of fun. We really liked the new changes. They were memorable and we liked them, and they were very noticeable. So if you're used to the Den of Darkness and the Frightmare Asylum, definitely expect some changes, especially the Den of Darkness. It's very different. Lots of immediate changes. And I got a good door fake out in the parlor scene, which was a lot of fun. But I'm curious, why did you bring the checkered room back into the Frightmare Asylum after years of not having it?
But it's funny. The checkered room is it's kind of like an internal battle amongst our staff. So Dean and I love the checkered room, and the good thing is we get the ultimate say on what happens because we own the place. So then some of the people who work for us love it, and some people that work for us, they're like, "Oh, I'm not the checkered room again." So, I don't know. The checkered room is kind of like, like Glenn was talking about, like Field of Screen, like how many seasons, and it's our 29th season, and it's the 27th season for the Den of Darkness. We only had season 1993, 1994 without the Den. 95, it was when we introduced the Den. So anyway, my point to this is that originally the Den of Darkness had a checkered room, and that was kind of like, and the character, if you remember, for the Den of Darkness was the checkered man. That was our icon character. Because it was and the checkered room actually was the very last room that you would exit the Den of Darkness. It was the checkered room and not the chainsaw. So the checkered room kind of holds a special place in our hearts. It's a great scare. I mean, like when you boil a haunt down, it's like sometimes the best scares aren't like the $10,000 like animatronic, like it's just the checkered guy. You don't see him, you're all disoriented, and all of a sudden he pops out in your face and you're like, what? Where'd he come from? And you drop to the floor. So we like the checkered room, we like the scare, we like the effects. We brought it back to the asylum. We added some new things. We upgraded the kind of the scare factor in there, without giving it away too much. But it's just like, it's not just your standard square box room, checkered room. But so anyway, we wanted to bring the checkered room back. We like the scare, we like the effect, and Gina and I won the battle. So.
Quick, going back to the Den of Darkness and kind of like your roots. I heard at one point the Den of Darkness, you had to there was a slide. Did you have to slide out of the Den of Darkness to get out of it, or was there a slide at some point?
Well,
I always heard that.
Okay, so going back, when we were kids. High school, junior high, there was a haunted attraction, and this is part of the checkered room story too. So there was a local haunted attraction called Scream in the Dark. You guys are too young, but this attraction was probably ended around 83-ish, 1983. So in Scream in the Dark, it was just held in a local barn. A local youth group actually put it on as a fundraiser. So we went to it as kids. Anyway, they had a slide when you exited the barn. They had a checkered room. So that's kind of also the nostalgic part of the checkered room. So anyway, the Den of Darkness, back in the day, we didn't have a slide at the exit. However, we had, like back when we first started, and this is, kind of, I don't know, like not embarrassing to admit, but it was so primitive back there, like I was describing. Even in 1995, we still used that barn for like our farm purposes. So the one room had straw stored in it. So we just took a tarp and covered the straw, and the customers would walk across that. But it was a great effect because it was so uneven and spongy. Everyone was like, what the heck's underneath here? And then we had a clown, like a Joker, jumping around and like laughing and playing games and doing nursery rhymes and stuff. And there was a slide in that area. So it wasn't an exit, but it was a small part inside the haunt. It was your story is partially accurate. Yeah,
it was great. Okay. I was just always curious about that.
Cool.
Yeah. Den was, that when we originally opened the Den, I mean, it was still like like an actual barn, like being used as a barn, and we were kind of like weaving through everything and making rooms because my dad was like, oh, I still need to park my combine in here, Eventually, we kicked him completely out. He's like, Dad, you have a barn down the road. Use that one.
Oh man. And because years ago you used to have a prison, right? One of the sets was the prison.
Up in the den, the attic
Yeah.
was the jail scene. Yeah, with the old standard PVC pipes and um, the guys rattling the metal ones and then the PVC ones. And he comes out through, and they're like, "What? How do you come through the metal pipes?" So yeah, the jail was up in the attic. And another funny thing talking about the history is like 1995 when we opened the den, what is now the Frightmare Asylum. So we kicked my dad out of the den, like I just said, but we didn't kick him out of the asylum yet, which was a chicken house. So people would be in that entertainment area waiting for the Den of Darkness to go in, and there'd be chickens like at the windows of what is now the asylum, and people would go over there. They'd be like feeding them French fries and stuff. So I mean, it was like you were coming to the farm. I mean, there's still chickens and potatoes, and I mean, the whole Frightmare Asylum was the downstairs was our potato cellar where we'd store potatoes, and then there was chickens in the rest of it. So obviously, this a lot different now.
Yeah, yeah,
Who would have known?
yeah. Who would have known? It's pretty terrifying now.
Souls are haunting the.
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm curious. I know that you've done lots of different changes for the Den of Darkness and the Asylum. Have you done any changes to the hayride, minor or large? Could you give like a teaser?
Hayride, our focus has been the last several years. We really focused on the hayride with the, with cryo the most recently, greenhouse, scrapyard, all those, twister, a sound change, all that sort of thing. So this year, the hayride doesn't have a ton of changes, just minor things. Guys like you will notice little things here or there. The customer that just comes, once a year or once every couple of years. Well, if they come once every couple of years, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, this thing's totally different." But the customers that's there having a good time, not really paying attention to every single little detail like you guys are. They might not notice many changes. You guys will notice a few things. But the hayride wasn't a big focus for us this year. Nocturnal, we did some minor things too. You'll notice some changes. We made some more upgrades to the swamp. A few other little things here or there. We talked about the checkered room was a big change in the asylum. Nurses got a change along with that because that was in the same area. And then also, I mean, the den is where we put most of our focus this year. And you guys saw some of that halfway to Halloween because one challenge was having off-season events. It's like, well, we still need to make our changes. So you guys kind of saw that in transition a little bit, but it looks a lot different now. And it's still finishing touches are getting put on right now. But so yeah, the den has the most changes this year.
Nice.
We actually still smelled the paint. If you went there to halfway to Halloween, we still smelled the paint, the fresh paint, coats of paint for the new scenes and everything. So
yeah,
you knew it was fresh. You knew there were some fresh scenes coming up.
Yeah. Like I said, that is the challenge with doing the off-season events. We still need to get our work done, because what some people may not realize, we have a full-time crew, and John knows this, but full-time crew year round, and that's what they're doing all year is they're working on Field of Screams. I mean, there's some other, there's eye candy stuff that we have going on. These big, huge, monsters that are going around the Midway and the entertainment area. Just cool atmosphere kind of things. We're sticking with our time ticketing program. That seemed to work really well. So that's something that was a silver lining with COVID for us. We were kind of forced to do that time ticketing and the time slots and even people out. And it's an arrival time slot. It's not like you're by 7:30 and you're going in at 7:30. That means arrive at 7:30. So we're going to stick with that. We're going to stick with, you got to be guaranteed entry. You got to go online. You got to buy online. Otherwise you just show up, and on those busy nights, your time slot's going to be sold out. So You got to check online and make sure there's availability. So, yeah, that's something we're bringing back.
Is that easier for crowd control? And this is going to lead up to my next question, but is that easier for you guys with crowd control? The top spots?
It was it made it so much smoother last year. I mean, the busy nights are still busy. You know, you're still waiting in line. There's still crowds, but it's managed better. And on the nights that are semi busy, it really spreads the crowd out nicely. It helps with traffic getting in. You're not waiting in traffic as much. You're parking easier. You're not in line with the attractions as much. You know, it kind of hurts the VIP sales a little bit, but we'd rather have a better customer experience overall. So it's it was a good thing. Yeah, it helped spread things out, Glenn, and really made things more efficient across the board. And that's why we're gonna continue to do it.
All right, because that leads into my question. What's the largest crowd you ever had in one night? Do you know that number?
I don't know that offhand, but
because I know you guys get busy. I mean,
yeah.
It gets busy at the height of the season.
We busted the seams, and we try, without telling people not to come, which because you tell people not to come. But we try, like in our, on the website, in the brochure, we try to mark those. It's those 3 middle Saturdays in October. Color them red. We say these are the busiest nights, the largest crowds. And some people like that. Some people want to come experience that madness of just. I mean, I don't know the number, but I mean, you can wait in line for 2 hours to go on the hayride. I mean, it's not because we're not efficient. We are, I'll pat myself on the back. We are the kings of efficiency. We know how to be as efficient as you possibly can, how to maximize our throughput, maximize parking, maximize the wagons, the number of I mean, we have 10 tractors running on those busy nights. I mean, every 2 minutes and 20 seconds, there's a tractor leaving our station, and they can't get any closer than that because they would run into each other out on the hayride. So some skits like cryo takes, that like in cryo on those busy nights, if you would sit in cryo and watch, there's a tractor leaving cryo and the other one is right on its tail entering cryo, and the actors are just like, it's nonstop. So we can't get any more efficient. It's just, it is what it is. But you still, even with that crank, even with that throughput, and the wagons are huge, they're 35 feet long, 9 feet wide. I mean, unless we just stack people on top of each other, then you customer experience. But it's busy. So you're waiting a couple of hours to go through the attractions, and if you want that, great. If you don't, there are plenty. I mean, there are so many nights you can come to Field of Screams, and it's not crowded. Any night in September, any night not in November, Sunday nights, early. You come early on Friday. I mean, most people don't want to do that, but I'm just saying, if you want to avoid the crowds, there are many ways to avoid the crowds at Field of Screams. If you don't want to avoid the crowd, come when everyone does. Those 3 Saturdays in October, and it just, like I said, some people just like it. They like the excitement, the action, all the people. I mean, it is fun. It's fun when everyone's there, and just it's a cool atmosphere, because it's like, man, this place is. It's like being at a concert that's packed. It's like, man, this is freaking awesome, man. Like a ton of people here. So.
And you have one of the best midways in out there. I mean, there's so much to do in that midway. It's like, I always say in my reviews, you can just go there and hang out. It's like the new, like, going to the mall. It's like parents just drop their kids off, and you get a band, you get food, you get games.
Yeah.
Without even going to an attraction.
You get Banjo attacking you, get some chainsaw guy.
Yeah, photo ops.
Ops. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like we try to create that atmosphere. We even like trademark, the ultimate atmosphere. Because that's what we try to create in our midway, our entertainment area, is just that feeling of like you arrived at a legit haunted amusement park almost, without the coaster rides, but like you're in a haunted amusement park. You have that feel with the, just everything that's going on in the Scream Shop. That was a huge upgrade a couple of years ago. We expanded our line. We made it a better retail area, and we're always adding items to our Scream Shop. The Field of Screams branded apparel and shot glasses and flasks and mugs and everything.
Something I definitely want to touch upon is coming early. It's still going to be a spooky, fun experience because Glenn and I and his friend Brandon, it was nice meeting him. We actually did Nocturnal Wasteland when it was still kind of light out. And we were curious what that would be like. And we were very happy we did because it was a very different experience. You could see the props better, you could see the scenes better. It was still fun. It still got some good scares, but it was really nice when you got to go over the pathways over the hayride scene because you could see all the detail in that of all the crane claws and everything. That was super neat. So we really enjoyed that you gave the opportunity to us to see it during the day, and we thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. When we did our halfway to Halloween event, we opened up Nocturnal, and the challenge with May doing an outdoor event was that it didn't get dark till about, like 8:30 ish, so. And I think our tickets opened 6. I think we were only open 6 to 9 or 6 to 10. But so most of our opening hours, it was daylight out. So, but we wanted to give, leading up to that, we only had the Den and the Asylum open. The hayride's just impractical. We can't open that on the off-season events because there's no corn and, this just doesn't work out. But opening up Nocturnal, it was kind of nice to have that added value for the same price. And we were kind of curious, how's that going to go with it? Because it's hard, it's harder to get, a scare in broad daylight. I mean, makes sense, right? But overall, it went really well. I mean, people, like you said, it was a different perspective. People got to see kind of things in the daylight, and I always feel like the true measure of a haunt is when you can go through a haunt in the daylight and it looks good, so that's our goal at Field of Screams. Like we want you to be able to go through, like if we can bring press out there during the day or customers during the day and they can see it and they're like, wow, this is freaking cool, or this is, still scary or whatever, because there's a lot of, I've been to other haunts and during the day and you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's like that looks bad, because under the cover of darkness, you can hide a lot of stuff. So, some people can get away with that. But, like I said, I think the true measure of a haunt is what does it look like in the daylight? Like how run down is it? It's not distressed, but run down, two different things. So, yeah, it worked out well. It was fun. It was fun opening up Nocturnal for the halfway to Halloween, and especially for the actors out there because they were like, when do we get to open our attraction? I was like, oh, halfway to Halloween.
You guys donate to charities, which I think a lot of people don't know about. Do you want to go into that? You want to talk about the charities you donate to and why you pick those types of charities?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We work with a lot of charities. And some of them change every year, and some of them stay consistent. Our one of our bigger ones is the Ronald McDonald House Charities, and we've been working with them for, I want to say, 10 years now at least. And I think our donation to that cause over the years is about 130,000 to date. So, you just look, it's sometimes it's hard to decide, what charities, because you can't work with everybody and you kind of have to decide, who you want to work with. And it just kind of fell into place that we started working with the Ronald McDonald House Charities. They have that house in Hershey. For those that aren't aware, the Hershey Hospital is right across the street. They have a house, the Ronald McDonald House, right across the street from the hospital. Families that, and that hospital deals with, kids with terminal cancer and just, the worst kind of things you could imagine. Like a little kid needs to be dealt with and have to go through, and the families and the siblings, and, the brothers and sisters and everyone. So, that house has, don't quote me, but, 100-ish rooms for families to stay while their child is across the street, getting treatment. So they're able to stay there, be with their child. Sometimes the child is even staying at the house as well, and they don't have to stay at the hospital. They give them meals. It's just a really, really cool place. If you ever haven't checked it out, go to their website or stop in. They're always looking for volunteers to help out if you live in the Hershey area. So anyway, we've been working with them, and we make a sizable donation to them. Rutter's Children's Charities as well. We kind of have a soft spot for kids, dealing with adversity. So we work with them. That's another big one that we work with every year. Boys and Girls Club of Lancaster. We work with a lot of the Malville, the local Malville organizations like the Community Services Foundation, the fire company, the library, just giving back to the community, and a lot of the local sports teams, that are in our area. We try to keep it meaningful. We try to keep it local. Yeah. The PA Breast Cancer Coalition. We team up with them with the Zombie Run. Every year that's about a $7,000 donation that comes from the Zombie Run. I kind of forget offhand where we're at to date with them, but I think we're up around 50,000. Over the years, donating to that cause. And once again, there's so many great causes out there, and you just have to pick which ones. We've had a lot of our staff, well, not a lot, but several staff members over the years that have battled different cancers, breast cancer and things like that. So breast cancer is always one that just hits close to home. A couple big things with Field of Screams that you should know for this year. Opening night September 10th. Closing night is November 6th. Is that a Saturday? Check me on that. Whatever that Saturday is, November 6th, I believe it is. That's closing night. November 12th is our blackout. That's where we go crazy and we kidnap you and isolate you and torture you and all those sorts of things. November 13th is our Zombie Run. So, fieldofstreams.com, you can get all the details. We're open some Thursdays, some Sundays we aren't open at the beginning of the season. So, if you want the exact dates, but September 10th is opening night. November 6th is closing night for the regular season. November 12th, blackout. November 13th, Zombie Run. As far as COVID, I'm glad you guys didn't really talk about it because, we're all sick and tired of COVID. We are, unless we're forced to with some kind of mandate at this point, we're assuming that if you're vaccinated, you're not wearing a mask. By all means, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Our actors will not be wearing masks. They'll be wearing masks, but not COVID masks this year. That was a real challenge last year. We fought through it, but and like I said, unless things changed, drastically, I know the numbers are up and that sort of thing. But last year by the fall, numbers were even back down last year. So we're hoping that things mellow out, and that's our current policy is we are mask free, we are social distance free, we are tagline is back and fully unleashed for 2021. So watch out. You guys are in trouble. That's the main things with and the other thing is, like I mentioned before, buy your tickets online. Choose your arrival time slot. That's the only way to guarantee entry this year, just like last year. So that's the word I want to get out.
Jim, in your personal opinion, what order do you recommend doing the attractions in?
Wow, good, man. Good question, Glenn. I like this. Well, I always say, like, because people are like, oh, I'm too scared. Like, it's too scary. I don't want to do this. Blah, blah, blah. Like, so in that case, I recommend going to the hayride first, because I think the hayride is the safest. Like you can hide. Like if you're scared, I recommend always doing the hayride first. Now, if you're a seasoned Field of Screams like person, this year I would save the den for last, because the den has the most changes. So you may just want to like save that for last. So I'm kind of, not giving you a straight up answer, but and the other thing is, depends what time of night it is too. If you get there early, you want to do the indoor attractions first, because you want to get a little darker to do the hayride and nocturnal. So, my answer kind of depends on like the other factors that you're now if you're just on a regular straight up night, me personally, I would save the hayride for last, because that's kind of just like, that's like Field of Screams. It's like the hayride, so I would probably do one of the buildings nocturnal, the other building, and then the hayride. Me personally, as Jim Schopf, going to Field of Screams as a customer, and I would get the VIP because I'm not waiting in line.
Awesome. All right, cool. So that was episode 12 of Fall Informer. And until next time, happy hauntings.